Hello everyone, happy Friday. It is an amazing day. This is a pleasure for me to be a host in this space with amazing people. Today we will be sharing an amazing information, so stay tuned because this can be a game changer of your intention to be an investor or simply, to do something with the money that you have placed in your house in the form of home equity. So my name is Victor Molina, and this is a pleasure to be sharing this time with my friend Greg. Okay, he's a specialist from Truist Bank, and he will be sharing with us some amazing information. So just to start, Greg, can you please share with us what a HELOC is?
Yeah, very good, Victor. Thank you so much, by the way. I really appreciate it. And hey, guys, really happy to be out here today. Again, I'm from Truist Bank, and like Victor said, my name is Greg Dickinson, and look forward to answering any questions that you guys might have today, and really just getting a roundabout education knowledge around HELOCs. And so to answer your question, a HELOC is basically something that you can leverage, right? That allows you to dip into your home, and instead of getting personalized type loans, unsecured loans that hike up those interest rates, credit cards that have really high interest rates, the HELOC is an amazing tool that you can use in your financial well-being. And so if you own a home and you've been there for a little bit, more than likely you've got equity in that house. And so a home equity line of credit is just what it is. It's a line that we take out, and we'll go through some specifics and some questions that typically people have, but it's an amazing product. I can't say enough about it. I've had it once before in my other house, and I just moved into a new home, and so I'm waiting for that equity to build up so I can get another equity line of credit. So really happy to be here, you guys, and really happy to answer these questions today with you, Victor.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that valuable information. And yeah, I was listening some podcasts on Spotify and real estate investment podcast, and they said that they has been purchasing new properties with some HELOCs, so they can use that money to buy new properties and then do it again and do it again and build a big portfolio. So that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So let's see if our audience, take the idea and move forward
and run with it. I love it. I love it.
So I have some question for you.
Okay.
Okay. The first one will be, typically, what percentage of my home equity can I use as a line of credit?
That's a very good question, Victor. So it's very simple mathematics, and so I'm going to break it down. Basically, what you want to do is you want to find the value of your home. And that could be a little hard sometimes in the market that we're in, right? But if you go to Keller Williams or you go to one of the Googles and Google your address, it'll simply give you an estimate, right? And that's kind of a good spot to be in. However, you can reach out to individuals like Victor, right? He's very knowledgeable, and he's a real estate agent, and so he has a little bit more tighter niche on those numbers of the value of your home. So what you do is you get the value of your home, and then you times that by 80%. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scenario. If we have a $500,000 home and we have 80% of the value of that home, that's $400,000. And then what you do is you minus whatever mortgage allotment you currently have. So if you owe $250,000, you're going to minus that $250 from the $400, and that's going to get you your equity. That is what you can leverage and go to the bank and see people like myself to help you get that type of loan. So that's how it works.
Oh yeah.
Very simple.
Perfect. So this is the next one. Do I have to pay interest on all of the money I am approved for, or let's see what I need to pay?
So this one's kind of a loaded question, okay? So HELOCs, there is so much with HELOCs. I'm gonna just be upfront and honest. The time that we have today is not going to be able to cover over everything, but just so you have a little bit more understanding, how that works is when you get the line of credit, I like to tell people it's like getting a credit card,
Okay.
right? It's a large credit card that you have with a line that you're already approved for. And the awesome thing about this product is you don't pay anything on it until you start to use it.
Oh.
Just like a credit card. So if you've got a line of credit for $1,000, you're not going to pay on that unless you borrow it, right?
So I can get approved today and waiting for a perfect and business or negotiation or opportunity to use a specific amount and just pay interest on that amount that I use.
Exactly. So there is a couple of different formats of payment, and this is where it gets a little detailed and convoluted, and this is where we come in as bankers to kind of help get an understanding around how that looks, right? And so, Victor, to just keep it really simple for our audience is when you get approved, like you said, let's say you get approved for $50,000, you got equity of that amount, right? You get approved for that. It sits there waiting for you to use it. I'll give you an example. I got one on my first house and I didn't use my home equity line of credit for 2 years. I had an emergency come up, my AC units went out, and so that was the cheapest way for me to borrow money, right? So I borrowed against the line and then I started paying. Now let's talk about payment really quick, okay? So payment on that, let's say you pull the full $50,000 out for an endeavor, something you're gonna use business, real estate dealings, right? You can pay interest-only payments where you just pay interest only on that allotted amount. It's very affordable, very cheap. However, it doesn't pay towards the principal. So we always coach clients, understand that you're only paying the interest portion and not the principal. The other way is 1.5% of whatever the balance is. So if you borrow $50,000, you times 1.5, and that's going to give you your payment. What's really cool about that, though, is as your line starts to decrease, your payment starts to decrease, right? So you have 50,000 times 1.5%, it's going to be a payment. And then if you get it down to 30,000, it's 1.5, and then your payment is that amount. So it keeps going down. It's really amazing. The last thing I'll say, I know, again, it's a lot. The last thing I will say on a HELOC is you can fix an amount up to 5 times within your product. This is where the product gets really interesting. And if you want more information, we can get that over to you, because that in itself is a long, drawn-out conversation. So multiple ways that you can do payment.
No, this is an amazing information. I thought that it was, just two answers or 2 topics, but I can see that it's a huge information.
Yes, it's a lot of information, definitely.
So let's see what else we have here. When I'm approved for a HELOC, do I have to pay? That's the one that you already answered. Is this type of product fixed or variable interest rate?
Okay, so going a little bit more into detail now that you asked that question, Victor, that's really good. The interest only is a variable rate. Okay, so it does get tied in with the market. As you know, right now interest rates are lowering. The Fed is starting to lower those interest rates. So with it being a variable, it can fluctuate. It could go down with the market. It could go up. It stays variable because it's a line. Anything that says line of credit, like credit card is a line. Anything that's attached to that, it's always going to be a variable. But earlier I mentioned you can have fixed options within your HELOC. So I don't want to confuse anybody, but I'm going to try to keep it simple for the audience. So let's grab $50,000 from our line, right? And I say, you know what? I want to fix 25,000 of that, and I want to lock it for 5 years. And I want a fixed payment, fixed amount. The other 25,000, I'm going to pay interest-only payments. So you can manipulate how you borrow the money, right?
Sounds great.
So the structure can be very, very detailed, and this is where we could get into a lot more detail when we sit down with the client. But the idea is there is a way that you can fix products from as low as 5 years all the way up to 30 years.
That's really good.
Okay,
I have the last one. Let me, let me see what is the last one. Okay, what is the basic difference between a HELOC and a home equity loan?
Okay, so a HELOC and a home equity loan are 2 separate things, and so When we talk about home equity loans, that's typically a cash out refi against the house, right? That's how that we see it. It's the same verbiage, just said differently, right? Home equity loan is a loan that's fixed, within itself. So you can have a loan aside from your mortgage, or you can have it actually rolled into the mortgage, which again is called a cash out refi, right? Very different. When we're talking cash out refi, I'm not a mortgage expert. I'm a HELOC expert. But on the mortgage side, cash out refis didn't make sense about a year or two ago because of the way interest rates were. Because you would have to refinance your house in order to get the cash out refi. And if you were sitting at 3%, like a lot of us were, nobody wanted a refi, right? Nobody wanted a refi.
Have no sense.
Yeah, so this is where we come in and we educate you, and we always want to put you into the right product. And so,
sounds great.
Yeah, we customize it to our clients.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And this is the last one.
Okay.
How can the audience reach out to you? What is the best way they can reach out to you?
I would love for y'all to reach out to me. Again, we could definitely go over this a lot more in detail. I always tell my clients, give me at least an hour. I'm a talker, as you notice.
I know.
I'm a talker. I can go on, but my job is to make sure that you guys are fully educated in this before I even open it up for you. And so you can reach out to me at 512-861-4005. That is my direct line. I do have voicemail set up, so you can leave me a voicemail, and I'll be happy to get back with you. Again, that number is 512-861-4005. Or you can reach out to me by email also. Email is Gregory, Gregory, Dickinson, Dickinson, at truist, truist.com.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Greg.
Victor, thank you so much for having me,
This was
sir.
really valuable information. So for all the audience, we will be here to help you to achieve your financial goals and the real estate goals. And with this kind of expert, it will be sure that you will be there. Bye-bye. My phone number is 754-232-5925. Thank you again, and
Thank you.
see
Thank you. See you next in Spanish.